Hi everybody, I hope you can hear me. I hope the music is not too loud. I'm Sparrow, and if you've never been here on Twitch or anything, hi Selner. This is how I do things. So over the last week, I finished 4 Reaper minis. I'm doing these for the Reaper Challenge League. I'll go over these a little closer. So this is my Greek archer that is not focusing, of course. Give me just a second and I should be able to fix that. There we go. Now that that is focused, I should be able to show everything off. At least I hope it's focused. Okay. This is my Greek archer that I painted up real quick. Oh, I heard a noise. What did that mean? Thanks, Rob. Thanks for the like. Hi, old nerd. This is one of Reaper's new minis called Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. It is pretty neat. It's a mimic. So you've got the front, you've got this cute little bunny, and then you flip it around and it's kind of scary. I've managed to make it not obscene for the most part, and I'm pretty happy about that. This is my gnome accountant, Stub. I had a lot of fun with him. My favorite part are probably the big pupils through his glasses. And then this is Rael Rainheather. She's an elf bard. and I finished those 4 this week. Now, some of you may be wondering why I have a rainbow here. It is St. Patrick's Day, and I decided I'm going to do a diorama. So I've already put some of it together. This is the base. I've glued some cork to the terrain piece. And then I've glued another smaller base to another smaller piece of cork. And then some cork between there that will act as keeping these together for now. I might actually turn that into something. This is going to go on the little terrain piece. It is the gravestone of protection. I'm probably just going to paint her up as stone with some freehand on the shield here. And then this guy is mainly what I want to be finishing up today. This is Finn Greenwell from Reaper Minis. He seemed very appropriate to paint today, so let's get going. Right now I'm going to use Pro Acryl Green, because the green that I put on him is not quite bright enough for my liking. So I'm just putting some of this on my wet palette and thinning it real quick. Hi, Ian. I know this is a new setup for me. I've got Instagram, I've got Twitch. I'm streaming on Facebook, I think, but I don't have chat pulled up. I can't seem to find it. So if you're on Facebook and you want to chat, just leave me a comment and I'll probably do a Q&A soon. So that I can address everybody's questions. If anybody has any questions now on Instagram or Twitch, I will be glad to answer those. Hi, Abby Dean. Yes, you can comment here. Get my light adjusted. Yeah, Twitch won't let you chat if you don't have an account, so I thought that it would be a little bit easier for a lot of people for Instagram. I am using right now this Pro Acryl Green. It might be Pro Acryl, but whatever. From Monument Hobbies, Silner. And I love these paints. Not everybody here is old. No, Twitch can be pretty confusing sometimes if you've never interacted with it. I need to pick out a brown at some point to do what I've already painted brown. I hope everybody is doing well and having a good day. And if you celebrate today, have a safe and happy holiday. This is how I'm celebrating. It's just painting some fun miniatures. Abby, you barely navigate Facebook with all the constant changes. Yeah, it's a mess. Trying to update things as you can is hard. They keep changing around the settings for page creators. And as I'm trying to do more with my Facebook page, I get very confused very quickly. I'm just doing some highlights. Which is really bringing out that green that I did already. So it's looking less black. He's got a clover here on his hat. I don't know if you can see that right there. And I'm going to hopefully make that stand out. I'm probably going to have to add some white to my paint to make it a little bit brighter than everything else. And looking at this, oh, no. That's just the way a clover is shaped. Never mind, I thought it had 5 leaves. Hello, everybody that is just joining. I'm painting a Reaper Mini with some Pro Acryl paints today. Hope you're all doing well. This may be entirely too bright, but I'm going to mix this green with the bold titanium white and see what happens. I don't want it to be like neon. Alright. Let's see how this works. I think that's gonna work. Thanks, Selnar. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I painted his face, but not his hands or his legs. I don't know how I managed that. I'm debating if I want to make his scarf a green or a yellow. Because I have a very bright yellow that would work. Let's see if I like the yellow. Again, I'm using this golden yellow. Hello to everybody on Instagram and Twitch and Facebook. Those of you who are just joining. I welcome any questions. That's kind of yellow. I'm also going to add a little bit of white. If you add white to paints that are more transparent, it makes them brighter, but it also makes them more opaque. There's cat hair in my palette. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Apologies for all the sniffling on my end. It has started to get warm here and my allergies are going nuts. I'm trying not to paint over the already wet paint, because if it's not totally dry when you do a second layer, it can rip up your first layer, causing it to look or have a hole like deal going on, or it can cause it to have texture, which a lot of people don't like. I am going to paint this buckle gold, as well as his belt buckle. but I want to have a little bit of an already yellow color there so that when I put the gold down, it doesn't look super patchy. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm gonna let him dry and put another coat of the green and the yellow on my rainbow that I did last night. And this is going to be part of the diorama. I sculpted this out of green stuff and left it to dry a couple days, and then yesterday I just primed it with some Stynylrez. Just brush on. I personally don't like to use spray on because the humidity here never agrees. I'm sorry if this is difficult to see what I'm doing. It's kind of got to lay flat for me to get these lines straight. There we go. This is what it looks like so far. I need to even out the amount of the colors, and I still need to do the back. And I need to do the clouds. While that dries, I'm going to start working on this gravestone, which I think I'm going to dry brush. If I can find all my grays. Okay. I'm going to start with this dark neutral gray. A good thing to note about these paints, they come in 22 milliliter bottles. I'm not sure if you can see that right there. Which is bigger than the Reaper paints that I also use, which are like half an ounce. I'm not sure how many that is in milliliters. But they're sizably bigger, or noticeably bigger. And when you shake them, it can cause them to spit at you when you open it. So what I've found is if you shake them left to right instead of up and down, it will not spit at you. I have already based this in brown liner, which is a Reaper paint, just so I can get a good coat. It acts like a spray or brush-on primer would for their Bones minis. Because again, spray primer doesn't work very well for me. And generally it's easier for me to dig out the... Trying to make more room. Than it is for me to dig out the primer. Okay. Now, this looks pretty dry. I'm going to give it another brush of this bright neutral gray. If you're on Twitch, I apologize. I don't know how to turn off the Ko-Fi stream bot. I don't have it set up yet. So that is ignorable. If you want to, in my link tree on Instagram and in my commands I'll put up in just a second, you can find my Discord and all my other social medias. Looks like the link works fine unless you totally would. Okay, thanks, Ian. I just haven't totally set Ko-Fi up yet, so. I plan on making a texture palette for my dry brushing, but I have not found a tray that I like enough. Like, that's a good size to fit on my desk, instead of a cafeteria tray, which I bought and did not measure beforehand. I'm gonna do this up in the dark gray. I'm just gonna paint it and then do another dry brush. And then I'll pick out areas of it that I want to be different colors. I am calling this diorama Death at the End of the Rainbow. That's a working title. As I get this done, if anybody can suggest a better title, I will gladly take suggestions. I've got several other dioramas that I'm working on, and a bunch of larger minis that I will try to figure out how to get on screen, because I've committed to painting Reaper's Maldrakar this year, or finishing. I've been painting it for at least 4 years. Let's just say 4. It is a giant 5-headed dragon that some people may know by another name, but I don't want to get C&D'd. So, yeah. But its wings are 9 inches wide, a foot, so 12 inches, something like that. It's quite large. My Grim Talon, which is a rock, ROC, not a rock like stones, has very large wings that I'm not even sure how I'm going to get it all on camera yet. I might have to lift the camera way up and do it that way. But since it's bigger, I can get into a lot more detail. Than I do with these smaller minis. I think I've got one of its wings sitting over here. Maybe not. I've moved it. So I will show you next time. Excuse me. Put some of that on the wet palette. For those of you wondering, I thin my paints with a 50-50 mix of Liquitex Flow Improver and just distilled water. I take this big 8-ounce bottle and I fill it half and half, which works well because last time I checked, the Liquitex came in 4-ounce bottles. I'm sure they come in bigger, but that was just convenient. So I fill up these little half-ounce bottles with the Flow Improver and water, and then call it good. I have some ideas as to how I want to do the base, but I will take other ideas if anybody has any. Like, I have an image in my head. It's not quite clear yet, but it will be excuse me. It should be a lot of fun. I don't think I'm going to finish this today, so next weekend I should get it finished up. I will definitely work on it during the week. This is for a quarterly challenge for the Reaper Challenge League, which, if you don't know anything about that offhand, I have a post about it on my blog, and it's essentially a personal challenge to yourself. It's not a contest. Big disclaimer there, not a contest. Where you get points and for different categories for minis that you paint, and for every, I believe it's 75 points that you submit, you get a $10 Reaper gift card. It started in 2021 as a challenge to get people painting, because Kickstarters and all sorts of things add up to piles of gray and shame or opportunity or whatever you want to call it. But it piles up real fast if you're not careful. And if you're like me, you're not real careful. I do have some other minis that I need to finish by the end of the month. I'll show those while that's drying. I'm working on this bust. She is not at retail yet. She came in the Bones Kickstarter 5, I believe. And excuse me. And there were a few other, but I let my nieces paint those. So I need to finish that. I have... Sorry about that. I have a Hydra. A Greek Hydra that I need to finish painting. I've just got base coat on it. That shouldn't take too long, I hope. And then I've got Hippogriff, who I've started his wings, which you can't really see on that side. These wings remind me of the shape of the Rock's wings, so I am trying to imitate what I did so I can get a better idea of where I'm going with the large ones. I don't... Lost what I was saying. Yep, it's gone. Sorry about that. I'm going to paint this cauldron gold with this bright gold. Wrong paintbrush. I don't like to thin my metallics most of the time, just because I have a hard time to get them to mix with my Floyd mixture. If anybody's got any tips on thinning metallics, I would love them. But generally, I'll just do a couple of coats. And I realize this is not the color I wanted to paint the cauldron. I wanted to paint the cauldron a dark bronze. So I guess I'm gonna commit and then find my bronze later and paint back over it. I'm very scatterbrained today. My camera isn't as zoomed in as it normally is. I've had issues with it all morning. So I've kind of had to leave it alone. I am going to paint this pile of gold this color. The gold is going to take a little bit of work for me because I was part of a basing box chain sort of thing. So like one person started the box and mailed it to somebody else, and then so on and so forth until it got back to the original sender. But I got these really cool like gold rock things. I've got a big tube of them. I didn't need the whole tube, so I just poured some into the little container. But I want to be able to put him on this little piece of cork here and then spill the rocks all out on the base some. I am also going to paint these buckles while I'm remembering that I wanted these gold. I'm going to be streaming until about 5 o'clock Pacific, which is about an hour and 20 more minutes, in case you didn't know. If anybody has any ideas for freehand on the shield, I will take those too. Because while I want the statue to look pretty aged, I want the parts of the shield that are not, or the parts of the shields that are flat, to be pretty pristine looking. That's what that shield looks like for those that can't really see it. I'm going to go ahead and dry brush this. There we go. This little archway. It looks like it's mostly dried. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask about me, about painting, about me and painting. Feel free to ask. Abby won't be able to stay until 5. Have to finish getting dinner and hang out another 15. Okay. That is perfectly reasonable. I'm doing a pretty heavy dry brush on this to pick up all these little details on the back here. I hadn't planned on this being a 360 diorama, but maybe. That's what this is looking like so far. I missed a spot right on top. Hello to everybody that just joined. Hope you're all doing well. I'm having a decent day. Do I paint fairies too? Yes, I do paint fairies. I don't have a whole lot of them, but I do paint fairies. I'm just going to... Since I don't know if I'm actually doing anything with the back of this, I'm just kind of lightening it up, not necessarily paying attention to direction or anything. If I need to come back and do that, I will. And here is how that looks so far. I missed a buckle. I am going to take a short stretch break, and I will be right back. And I'm back. I'm hoping all of y'all out in Instagram land are enjoying yourselves. This is my first time streaming to Instagram. It took me a while to get Streamlabs to cooperate and set up. My paint has separated a little. You like Instagram because you can interact with me? Yeah. I like being able to interact and all that fun stuff. I want to say again, if you celebrate the holiday, that I hope you have a safe and fun one. I am celebrating by painting today. Excuse me. I think I'm gonna do a couple more highlights on this guy. And then let him dry for some time. Because I'm running into some opacity issues. If anybody is interested, I have my Discord server and all my socials in my link tree on my Instagram bio. And for those of you on Twitch, I will drop my commands in the chat real fast. I'm starting to think this screen might be a little bit too bright. But it's paint. You can go back over it. It's not the end of the world. As long as you're not obscuring your details, you don't really need to strip them of the paint. You can just paint over it. I should have this finished in the next couple of weeks. As I mentioned before, it's for the Reaper Challenge League. My brain has gone to mush, and I cannot word today. Yep, it's gone. Do not remember what I was saying. Yeah, it's a little bright, but when I come back, I'll glaze over it with a dark green or do a wash with a dark green. And it'll look less white and chalky. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves and having a great day. I might make his little jacket thing he's got on here just as bright green to separate it from the pants a little bit. I know he's got a belt on, but I like to try to give it a little extra separation. I don't know what I've done with my bronze paint. I'm shaking up this Reaper Paint chocolate bar. It is a limited edition paint that they put out around Christmas time. And it is a gorgeous dark brown. I use a mix of Reaper paints and Pro acrylic paints from Monument Hobbies. They both, to me, have a similar consistency, and I feel like I don't have to thin them a whole bunch out of the bottle. I would like to try some of the new Army Painter Fanatics paints, but I don't have any of those yet. I hear they're real good though. If any of you have tried them, I would love to hear about it. I think I'm gonna go over his shoes with this dark brown as well. Because now that I've done the belt, that color, it feels like his shoes are too bright. Abby, you have to go finish dinner. Loves the leprechaun. Yeah, thanks for coming in. I'll talk to you later. Really wish I could find that bronze. This is what he's looking like so far. That bright green is very bright, so it's definitely going to get toned down. And these are just very rough highlights. I'm shaking up coal black, which is also a Christmas time limited color. Oh. It helps if I paint on screen. I'm just painting over the cauldron. It will be black. I might come back later with a different black and stipple over it so it looks a little more cast iron. Now I have clipped off most of this guy's base so that I can blend it in with the cork. Oh. I'm trying to decide if I want to repaint this eye. It's looking kind of snake-like, whereas the other one is pretty normal. Let's see what I can do. I want him looking in the same general direction. And that's not how you do it. I want him looking in the same general direction, but not straight out. Because generally, if you do eyes that are looking straight forward, you get eyes that look kind of wonky. So I've got this guy looking off to the left a little bit. I think that works. Eyes are definitely a difficult thing to do. Hello to everybody that just joined. Hope you're having a great day. I'm trying to get the handle of this, but I am just getting his hands. I'm going to paint the bubbles just like an off-white. It's linen white from Reaper. This is something that they carry in regular stock. It is probably my favorite white, and I use it on everything. All my eyes are generally, unless I've misplaced my paint, a combination of coal black and linen white, because it's just off white enough. It doesn't make the whites of the eyes look scary. I think I'm going to paint the bottom of his shoes black. Hello and welcome to everybody that just joined. If you don't know who I am Sparrow, and I paint miniatures of the like. I paint a lot of Reaper miniatures because I back their Kickstarters, and I usually get a lot of stuff. And if you know how a Bones Kickstarter goes, it's a lot sometimes. But also paint their metal stuff, and I do occasionally paint Warhammer, but not often. Nothing against Warhammer, I just can't justify the cost to myself. I do have some out-of-print Warhammer Fantasy Elves that I was going to paint last year for my 10th anniversary of painting. This year will be 11, obviously. Because those are the very first things that I painted. And I wanted to see how much growth I've had. And of course, I did not get them finished on time because I don't want to say they weren't a priority, but I got busy with other things. It was a rough year last year. So life just kind of got in the way. And this is what he's looking like so far. I think I'm gonna try to make this cloud look a little more cloud-like. Excuse me. I'm gonna start with this bright ivory from, again, Pro Acryl Monument Hobbies. Use a bigger brush. And just kind of paint that all over it. This is kind of a yellowy white. I'm going to try off camera. There might be too much light. Give me just a second. There we go. You can see a little better, I hope. Just make this cloud a little bit yellow. And then I'm going to come back later once it's dry and mix probably a really light blue into it and do some highlights and shadows and all that fun stuff. I'm gonna try to do a really small gradient from here to about the length of my paintbrush bristles and try and make this not such a stark line. I'm going to use my bold Pyro Red, which is my absolute favorite red, I think, of any line that I've used. I'm throwing things. But this red is exactly as bright in the bottle or out of the bottle as it is in the bottle. And for a red, it covers really well. Red is one of those more difficult colors. That can be pretty transparent and take a lot of layers, but this one only takes one, sometimes two. This I'm not necessarily going over for opacity. I am trying to straighten out the line. So with the rainbow, here's my base. I'm trying to decide if I want it here. So the temple archway is hiding, or if I want it here. I don't know if you can see that well. I'm leaning towards in front, so it kind of hides the darkness that is behind. Okay. So I promised some diorama work, and I will do that now. I'm gonna take this guy and just kind of place him there. I'm gonna take some of my blue tack and stick him down so I remember where he was before when I go to glue him. I'm going to take some of these fancy gold rocks and play around with some of them. A lot of these are bigger than I thought they were. I have tweezers somewhere. These will work. It's big enough. Maybe these will work. But I'm going to take some of the really small ones at the bottom later and kind of cascade them down from the pot. Onto this pile. A lot of diorama work is just messing around until you find something you're happy with. That's why I don't glue stuff until I'm absolutely looking at these closer. I think they are just bits of glass that have been mixed up with some gold paint or gold leaf or something. I think I want that back that way a little more. Excuse me. I mentioned earlier it's getting warm here, and my allergies are just absolutely killing me. Oh, here, let me move this down just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing better. I'm thinking I'm gonna make this trail up here a little bit. I'm throwing pieces of stuff everywhere. I'm gonna trail it up a little bit so whoever may come upon it follows it. Sorry. Did not mean to hit the camera. I think that looks good. My little trail of gold. I might do some ash for the base here, just to definitely make it look more dead. I realized I probably shouldn't have glued these together yet because I'm going to do some grass. And it is not the easiest thing to do when... It's not the easiest thing to do when everything's all glued together. But I am going to use some of these and some of these, which are both Army Painter. The yellow ones are Meadow Flowers and the green ones are Woodland Tufts in 3 different sizes each. But I'm going to use, if I can get in my drawer, some of, I'm gonna use some of this dead looking steppe grass. It's a little bit of green and yellow mixed with a lot of brown. And then I might use some of this ashy tundra stuff that I've never gotten the chance to use. Because why not? So I think I'm going to take a picture real quick of how I have the base. And then I'm going to put these rocks back in the container. I'm going to pull him, ooh, sorry about that, pull him off of the base. Apparently pull that piece of cork out. Let's see if this one will, nope, that's just gonna chip off. Okay. I'm gonna take, why can I not find anything? This is just some Mod Podge mixed with green paint. In here. I'm going to take one of my throwaway brushes and do a thin layer of that. Just kind of stuck on here. And I'm going to do it up on this as well. Rinse my brush out really well. I don't want glue to dry in there too hard. Move my glue out of the way. And then I have a small piece of parchment paper here to catch all my basing overflow. So I'm just gonna take, if I can get this open. I'm gonna take this grass and break it up a little bit and just kind of sprinkle it on. I do this on a separate piece of parchment paper so that whatever overflows and I don't use, I can just throw back into the container. Because as you can see, it's a lot of I'm just gonna throw some big clumps on here. I'm debating whether or not to make some gravestones, and if I do, where to place them. If anybody has any input on that, please let me know. I'm just gonna push this down so it sticks. This little piece of cork is going to be a rock. And tap, 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 tap. And that is what I've got. Once that dries, I can stand it up a little bit better. I don't think this is static grass. I don't know. But I don't have a static grass applicator anyways to try and words are not working today. To try and make it just stand up straight. Now for the rock, I'm gonna take these broken up bits of cork and break them down into smaller pieces. This is usually easier to do with a craft knife, hobby knife, what have you. And I'm gonna take these, stick them in a little bit of that glue, and just kind of stick them where it seems to make sense for a little bit of extra rock to be. I'm going to make this smaller. Maybe. The nice thing about cork is if you just kind of scrape at it, it will break up into natural looking pieces. But you can also cut it or flat. I might come back later and take some super glue to some of these, because sometimes they don't always stick down with the white glue. I realize I'm off frame, I'm sorry. I'm going to stick this big chunk right there. And then I'm going to build up some rocks right around here so it doesn't look like I've just glued a base to another base and a piece of cork on top. I'm not gonna finish this today. There's not gonna be enough time. I have about 25 more minutes here. But I will work on this during the week, and I will probably work on it next weekend as well. Sometimes you can take watered down PVA glue, school glue, whatever you want to call it, and spray onto where you're sticking your grass or your cork or what have you. And it works pretty well. I just like to make sure things are just stuck on super good. So I will use an unthinned excuse me, an unthinned bit of Mod Podge, and with this one paint. My goal here is to cover the lip of this base. But still make it look natural. I have some bricks, like dollhouse sized bricks, for a different diorama that I might break out for this. That sounds like a good idea. Trying to make decisions. But I might make it look like there's a fallen wall here around the top or the front. That would be fun. I think I'm gonna get out my thinned glue. Out of my drawer and shake it up. It's literally just water and, sorry about that, water and glue. I'm going to spray that there. And this does dry clear. Trying to open this without making a gigantic mess. Just gonna do a bunch of this ashy stuff. Sorry about my hands in the way. But I really want this to look quite creepy. I might mix in some bits of dead. There we go. Bits of dead grass and depending on how much space I have, I might do a gravestone or two. I'm hoping it'll look really cool when I'm done. I'm gonna kind of carefully tap the extra off of that. I'm gonna back the camera back out. So. And there we go. So this is what we've done today. It's about time to end the stream, so I'm just going to go over things real quick. I've done all of this basing. I painted the archway. I did the small base. I did part of the big base. I've got a lot of work to do on that one. I did part of the rainbow. I started painting this guy. He's got a far way to go before I'm happy with how he looks finished. And then I just basically dry brushed and painted the shield on this. Again, if anybody has any ideas for what sort of freehand I should do on the shield, let me know. I'm gonna end a bit early today so I can go have dinner. I want to thank everybody for being here and hope everybody had a good time, and I will see you next time. Thanks, Ian. I'll talk to you later.